Hi, sweetie. We want to talk to you. Can you put the Steam Deck away for a moment?
Sarah and Julian sat down with their son Mitchell and talked with him about something they kind of know their son sensed it was coming. They wanted to get a divorce. Mitchell, their son, looked at them for a moment and started asking them all kind of questions. Mitchell wanted to know if they are divorcing him as well. They laughed and assured him that that would never happen. What about the Steam Deck? Is Dad going to take it away from him? Ever since his dad, who was usually a little distant and uninterested in Mitchell, bought the Steam Deck and sold it to Mitchell, they had been bonding with its help. Julian is impressed with the huge library of games for the Steam Deck. There's even an option to emulate past and current console on the Steam Deck. For their bonding time, Julian introduced Mitchell to God of War, where the player controls Kratos, the dad who goes on a journey with his son Atreus to spread his mom's ass on the highest peak in the realm. Julian liked the bond between Kratos and his son because it bears a resemblance to Julian and his son's relationship. Just like Kratos, Julian also describes himself as distant and mysterious, and they wield very powerful weapons. Kratos and his Leviathan axe, and Julian and his powerful Steam Deck.
Playing on the 7-inch display doesn't do justice to the epicness of the Norse mythology, especially with that huge bezel.
That's Julian.
It deserves a bigger screen, but yet it's cool at the same time to be playing a AAA console game on a small handheld.
It's not really that small, is it?
It doesn't fit in your pocket like the Nintendo Switch, especially the Nintendo Switch Lite, but it is not as heavy as you think from something this premium and bulky.
As for Mitchell, it was much bigger for him, a 12 years old boy, to handle the portable handheld. When he played it, Mitchell slanted the bottom edge of the Steam Deck against his lap as he controlled Kratos. Mitchell loved the games and even memorized all of Kratos' moves.
My previous or the wrath of the frost ancient, the river of nights, blessing of the frost, and that was the one where Kratos threw his axe and it's been around and does frost damage. Oh
Gravestone.
yes, Gravestone. Look, I'll show you.
Mitchell shifted his small hand upward to press the top trigger buttons. Kratos immediately spun as his axe glowed like blue, started to fly around him, and froze all the enemies that came to contact with it. It was satisfying to watch as it was to perform. There was no lag whatsoever. The game has an option to lock the gameplay to a smooth 30 frames per second even during the heat of battle, which matches the performance on the original PS4 console. Therefore, it has been described as a console experience on the go. There is also a touchscreen, a gyro sensor, thumbsticks with capacitive sensors, and four grip buttons on the back of the deck. It really allows the player to assign the buttons any way they like to fit their gameplay style.
Did you know you can also plug into your monitors or TV and use it as a PC? I haven't had the chance to do it yet, but I have my monitors and my keyboard packed in my boxes in my office. Once I set it up, I'll do just that.
Julian agreed to move out but still stayed close by to his ex-wife so he could spend the weekend with his son. He constantly thinks about how he can improve his play space setup to make the Steam Deck the main center of attention, where it would be easily connected to his monitors but allowed Julian to pick it up on the go as well.
I'm pre-ordering another Steam Deck. It's only $399 for a 64 GB.
And there is a 256 GB version for $529 and a 512 GB version for $649.
It's such a good deal. I haven't told Mitchell yet, but I want to give him the Steam Deck that I have now. Sort of like something to remember me by when I'm not there.
Sarah thought it was a nice gesture too. She does want Mitchell to know that they both would be there for him. As time went on, she was afraid Mitchell might be obsessed with the device in a bad way. After Julian moved out, she noticed that Mitchell brought the Steam Deck everywhere he went.
It's like he's bringing his dad everywhere with him. I feel really bad for my son. I feel guilty for not being able to make it work with Julian.
Mitchell put the Steam Deck in his backpack to go to school with him. He wanted to show the new gadget to his friends. His favorite game at the time was about a cat named Stray running around in a lost city helping his robot friend.
It runs for the whole day. I mean, I play it on and off the whole day. I play it at recess and lunch, and sometimes when my teacher isn't looking. I almost got caught once, but I quickly put my book over it and hid it before my teacher saw it.
His playtime lasts for 3 hours and a half to 4 hours. Mitchell doesn't charge it until he gets home from school. Then he plays it again at night when he finished with his homework. In order to replicate the bonding time Mitchell had with his dad, Sarah begins to sit with Mitchell on the couch and ask him to teach her on how to play the Steam Deck. Mitchell is extremely excited to show her the device and tells her about this new game he has been playing. Sarah held the Steam Deck in her hands and started to click the buttons to see what they do. Mitchell had to stop her from accidentally pulling up the menu a couple of times.
It's big, kind of heavy. I'm so clumsy holding it.
Sarah set the Steam Deck low on her lap and occasionally propping it against her thigh.
I feel like I either have to crane my neck down to read sometimes, and I would subconsciously squint to read the dialogues.
Her hands are small in general, but still bigger and longer than Mitchell. But she feels strained reaching some of the buttons.
My son's hands are more dexterous than mine. I feel out of place seeing how he moves with his tiny hands up and down so easily.
I think you aren't used to hold your hands in that posture, and Mitchell is used to it.
Yes, that too. I guess over time I'll get used to it.
With that being said, Sarah likes the high fidelity of games on the Steam Deck. She is impressed with the animation and the visual. It is visually more stimulating than an iPhone or a Nintendo Switch game.
I never expect to see something this impressive on a handheld. It is like having an interactive Pixar film.
Sarah is playing a game called It Takes Two. The game lets the player control a divorced couple as they jump, spin, and work together to solve puzzles. Mitchell and Sarah take turns playing the game and solving puzzles. Sarah loves the game, but sometimes the dialogues between the parents, May and Cody, hit too close to home. After a while, she even noticed that the other character appears to be moving on his own.
How is the other character moving by itself? Are you controlling the other character? No, that is. What? How?
Sarah pauses a moment to realize that the Steam Deck is connected to the internet with its dual band Wi Fi, and that she has been playing with Julian all of these times, exploring some other couple's messy outcome of the divorce.
You guys probably talk about your separation a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So is it weird to be looking at the divorce, your good and your bad memories through a video game?
Yeah, I thought so at first, but I like the different viewpoint. Even though I know I'm playing against, I mean, with my ex-husband, it's not awkward. There is this safe distance between him and I. I'm on my couch and he's on his. I can actually work out puzzles and situations together with him without actually wanting to strangle him.
Sarah, Mitchell, and Julian continue to play It Takes Two every night after dinner and after Mitchell has finished his homework. The Steam Decks bring the family together even if they are not together in the same house. They are still spending time together as a whole family. Sarah and Julian don't want the game to end, but they say even if it does, They are confident that they will find a new game to play together. Today's episode is produced and written by JB. If you'd like to hear more, please consider subscribe to Unheard Reviews, the podcast and video on YouTube. I make a new episode whenever there's a new product comes out and I like it enough. My other podcast on YouTube is called Unheard Perspectives. So please check it out and subscribe to both the podcast and the YouTube channels. Thank you.